What's up, guys? It's Rob. Just real quick, I just wanted to talk about a couple. Their names are Marlon and Tanya. Tanya has gastroparesis, and honestly, I really feel for them. Marlon was telling me about the situation. Instantly, I thought about Kayla over here. Pretty much, long story short, she's been in and out of the hospital for about 5 years now. She's had, I think, 23 surgeries. And they're trying to raise money through PayPal. As you guys can see, their PayPal email is at the bottom of the video. So just head over to PayPal, go to send and receive. Even if you can send in, what is it? Send in what?
Send in request.
Send in request. So even if you guys only have $1 that you guys can give, definitely try to help them out. I can't even imagine what they're going through right now. They're in the Basehead community, so we're trying to help them out. Let's see how good we can do with this. What's up, guys? It's Rob here, and I had an interesting type video idea for you guys. That's going to be, I'm going to sit here, I'm going to give you guys some car audio tips, go over a couple of things here and there. Each episode is going to be different, but, obviously I cannot do install videos every video. There will be one coming up this week, though, I promise. We're just doing an LED light. It's a dome light, but it's something coming up. And today we're going to be talking about what ohm speaker you guys should buy, what the fuck is an ohm, and all that kind of stuff is what we're going to be going over today. Because I get a couple of questions here and there on Instagram, which is where I'm most active at _thycheetah. I'm most active over there. I don't really check my Twitter too often, to be honest. And I also get asked it a bunch in the comments, so I wanted to make a video and go over that and explain to you guys the importance of ohms, matching it up with the correct amp, and knowing what you're buying before you buy it. First things first, most of the time, you'll see something like this. We got a Type R8 right here. And if I could fucking show you, right over here, you guys see that this is it's upside down. Actually, I think it says it on the back right here. Dual 2 ohm coil. What that pretty much means is it's obviously a dual voice coil subwoofer. So we're gonna have 2 voice coils, each are gonna have their own ohm rating. What we want to do with this to reach a 1 ohm load is we're gonna take our, where the fuck is it? Our positive connection right here, run it to the positive right here, negative to negative, and then we're going to take one of these negatives and one of these positives and go out to our amplifier, and our speaker will be wired in parallel with each other. So that'll drop to a 1 ohm load. A lot of people think, oh, I got a dual voice coil sub, so I'm at 4 ohms. No, when you add ohms, it actually goes backwards. So if you have a dual 2 ohm voice coil sub, it's going to equal out to dual 1 ohm. If we have a dual 4 ohm subwoofer, like we got right over here with this Type R12, it's going to end up equaling out down to, 2 ohms. Or if you have subwoofers like my SoundCubed HDC 418s that are in the Focus, those are dual 1 ohm subwoofers, so when we wire them in series, it's going to wire them down to ½ ohm each. So you have to make sure that you buy an amplifier that's going to be able to match the output of that. So you want to be able to have a amp that is ½ ohm stable or 2 ohm stable or 1 ohm stable, depending on how you're trying to run your subwoofer. I would definitely recommend checking out wiring diagrams for this. SoundCubed actually has a really good wiring diagram for dual voice coil subs. I would recommend to go check that out. It's over on their website. Go to the subwoofer section, and on the bottom, it's going to say wiring diagram. Just soundcube.com. They have a good one. I use it at work every now and then just to be sure of the math that I'm doing when I'm wiring up multiple subs together, because sometimes it can get kind of confusing. Now, to be honest, it really shouldn't get too confusing until you start doing series parallel subwoofers, which is when you're going to be raising the impedance of one sub to lower it down with the other ones. So you'll pretty much take the dual 2 ohm subwoofer, for example. If you're trying to run 2 of them at 2 ohms, you would end up wiring them in a series parallel. So you go from the negative on one to the positive of the other, and you do that for 2 of the coils, and then you get your positive and negative one from each, and then you'll be at a 2 ohm load with 2 dual voice coil 2 ohm subs. And then with the single voice coils, it's nice and simple. You only have 1 voice coil, so it's just either You got to go from the positive to negative, or negative to positive, or positive to positive, and negative to negative, and then from there you'll have to figure out which speaker wire you have to grab at the sub to run out to your amplifier, because no matter what, we don't want to have things done improperly and just wire each sub separately and run them to the same amp. Yes, you can do it. Yes, it will work, and yes, even I have done that, years ago. That's not something you want to do. Also, another thing that I see a lot, especially working at the shop when people are coming in with, their own equipment that they installed themselves that's not working. Don't run your speaker wire on the outside of the box. Wire each sub individually to your terminal cup and then run the speaker wire to join them together behind the sub. Don't do that. It looks like shit. Just do it all on the inside of the box, even if you have to maybe drill a small hole if it's a sealed enclosure, and then just put a wire through it and then butyl it up or silicone it. I would much rather see somebody do that. It is a little bit more extra work, but the outcome is so much better that I don't see, it's definitely worth it for the extra 5 minutes of work that it really takes in. So really, when it all comes down to it, when you're talking about ohms, you just want to make sure that the amplifier that you're buying or plan to buy or already own is going to be able to support that. Because if you try to take my HCC4 subs and put them on a traditional 1 ohm stable amp for a mono output, it's going to sound like shit. It's going to distort. That, and the amp is probably going to go into protection if it even does play. And if it does play, it will probably distort. I have run into this before. The old Planet Audio amps I had way back when we first got my system going, yeah, it was fucking, a little distorted, so I had to turn the gains down, and I was only pushing these subs at maybe 1800 watts a piece, and now I have them, at 3000 a piece. And then really the next thing that you want to be careful of when you're maybe going to buy a 4-channel amp and you're running multiple speakers, is to make sure that your amp is stable at whatever ohm load that you're putting on it. For my 4 channels, I have them under a 2 ohm load, which is stable with that amplifier. Most 4-channel amplifiers will be stable at 2 or 4 ohm, depending honestly on if it's a high quality amp or if it's a cheap amp. A lot of the more basic amps are going to be 4 ohm stable per channel. Reason being is most stock replacement speakers are going to be 4 ohm speakers. It's just how it is. When you get into the pro audio section, like right now, I'm running 4 ohm speakers. Once I'm ready to do my truck, I'll be running 8 ohm speakers so I can have less amplifiers and just get a bigger amp to push out more power. And I can run more. I'd be able to run 4 6.5s to get down to that 2 ohms. Because the 2 8s will equal 4, the 2 8s will then equal 4, the 4 and the 4 would then equal 2. So I can run, 4 speakers on 1 output channel safely, as long as I can also be able to provide the proper amount of power. That's really it. Honestly, it's pretty straightforward. It just takes a little bit of knowledge and understanding of the topic before you just start going out and buying shit. Because when I first got started, I didn't know. Well, I knew about ohms from vaping. I had to learn about it when doing stuff with vaping and figuring out what I liked. But it's completely different when it comes to trying to wire subwoofers and get your amp to work properly. So I was just out buying shit. I was buying the wrong shit. And I don't want to see you guys go down the same path. Because you guys have been on my channel for a long time and have heard, I don't have any videos of it up here, but on my Instagram I do. At one point I had 2 12s, I had 2 15s, I had 2 15s and 2 12s, I had 2 different 15s only. So I've been all over the place with the system that's been in my focus, and finally, after learning a lot more, I was able to definitively pick what I wanted to do with my system, and I was able to do that. But in the process, I also ended up wasting a lot of money on shit that I wasn't going to be able to use later on. So I would definitely recommend you guys to before you just go out and start buying shit, check the wiring diagrams, check the amp that you want to purchase for the speakers, make sure that it's going to be stable at the ohm load that you can provide it. And most subs anyway, the door speakers are kind of screwed usually. The Pro Audio, you usually be pretty good. But when it comes to the subs, and the Pro Audio, you can usually buy different ohm speakers depending on your application. But that's really it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you guys want me to keep doing videos like this, where I'm just answering questions that you guys leave in the comments, you guys got to start asking some more questions, as well as let me know if you like this style of video of me just sitting here explaining car audio to you guys and breaking it down. But as always, guys, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and all of that cool shit you guys do for me here on YouTube. This is Rob, and I'm out. Peace, guys. I hope you enjoyed.
I got my own weed, sucker, so I ain't gotta hit yours. I'm talking straight endo. Cali weed blowing like a Rastaman. Kush seed straight